Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Scott, Skidz, Alford.
Oh, geez. I mean, yeah. I guess it's what you're getting in. It's what you're getting into. I think there needs to be a better representation. I've seen guys come into the club and you know what this is, you know what that is. No, I don't. I mean, I had a study guide of pagan information going all the way back to the Norse gods that we had to know, and you were going to be tested on. And you should be tested on. It's the history of your club. It's the history of your family. You know, it's me asking a regular person in a bar, you know, what'd your dad do for a living? And him saying, oh, I don't know. You know, you don't do that. You're supposed to know you're supposed to know yourself. You are a pagan. You're supposed to know what the pagan is. Is there guys in this club that can't answer those questions? Yeah. Yeah, I feel that in this club, which is the only one that I can speak for, I'd like to see the prospect process go to a 12-month minimum. You know, you're going to cut down on the amount of guys that are going to say, so I got to do 120 days of prospect, then I get my cut, take a picture with it, bang my wife with my cut on, and then I can quit and I'm out before I get indicted or hurt in a bike wreck. And, you know, them guys are around. That's a real thing. There's guys that just try to come here and make a mark. They don't care. They don't care. It doesn't mean anything to them. It's something to hang in a frame in their hallway, and they can tell their friends about it 10 years down the road at a barbecue. I don't see it as that. You know, for me, it was everything. I was happy to make it. I had no intentions on ever being a pagan. I had wanted to start my own thing and be part of my own thing and kind of guide it. Have a little more control over it and keep it smaller and closer. Coming up in this area, the best example that I had for a club coming up in Jersey and Philadelphia area was actually the Breed. I don't know what you know of the Breed, but
I know they're back. I know they're back.
Yeah, John Napoli is a very good friend of mine. I spoke to John the night that I got arrested, as a matter of fact, from prison. It just happened to be the night I got arrested on this case. His friends and his brothers in that club, they had a mentality of keeping it a small knit thing. They weren't advertising. They weren't out looking for numbers. They weren't trying to get, the most guys on the planet in a chapter on every continent. And I respected that. I like that a little bit. I like a closer knit situation. There's a better trust issue. I mean, there's brothers in this club that I've never met. I never will meet. And quite frankly, I don't care to meet because it's just turned into a big monster. And it's nice to see that we're keeping up with the other clubs, but I can't imagine being part of something where a brother that says hello to me in a bar one night at a mandatory who I've never met from Miami, let's say, and I'm just saying that as an example, and this guy goes and does something stupid, and the last person he talked to was me. Especially when it comes to being me, because they just hate me. It's very likely that it's going to be called a RICO situation. And, they're going to say, I ordered this and I told the guy to do that. And here he is talking to him. You shake hands with the wrong guy. And it could be your last time shaking hands with somebody. Who knows what that dude is doing at home? So when I see, use in the club and guys that are out of control, we keep a short leash on that. And at least, and I can speak for, the guys in my end. I don't like it. Nobody wants to be the weakness. With this girl I had that caught me this case, at one point, the guy above me, he came to see me with his son, and they sat me down like a 13-year-old kid in high school, and said, "Brother, she's got to go. You're not yourself. You're not doing the job right. You're distracted." And he said, you remind me of a guy who's got a whiskey throttle getting dragged down the street by a bike, and he's already hit 5 cars, and he's still screaming, "I got it." this girl was a nightmare, and that's what I was. I was up, and they're quick to tell you about it. And no sooner did they tell me, I got rid of her, and months later, here I go on my way to prison because of this same idiot.
Before we get into that story, I want to ask you, there's a guy that's out there claiming to be Lou Dobkin's grandson. I looked into his background. He's absolutely not related to Lou Dobkins in any way. He was a part of the club at one point, but he got booted out of the club, and now he's riding around with patches on, with yellow writing, and he's going on documentaries and claiming to be Lou Dobkin's grandson. He's soliciting money for some of the archive items from Lou Dobkins. Allegedly, he stole them from Lou Dobkin's widow. What do you think about that situation?
Yeah, somebody needs to turn him into the crash dummy that he always wanted to be. I think I saw a quick clip of it the other night. I was breezing through something. I don't know if it was on your station or somebody else's, and I saw somebody telling a story. Skinny kid, right? Skinny guy. Yeah. That'll work itself out, I'm sure, because people they say the same thing in prison. You come to prison, you can be anybody you wanted to be. When I got there, you tell people who you are, and they'll say, "Yeah, we'll check it out and make sure that's who you are." And quickly the information comes back, and you're verified. But guys come through there all the time. There must have been 13 Pagans at buildings. You get moved around a lot when you do this prison shit. And every time I got somewhere, oh, there's 4 more of you on the yard. Oh, that's great. I can't wait to see them. And you go out there, and there's 4 guys who were saying they were Pagans for 4 months until I got there. And quickly it was, no, I know a pagan who used to date my mother. He's dead now, but I can't remember his name. And, it's always a mysterious, yeah, it gets lonely because you want there to be, you don't want them in there with you, but you understand what I'm saying. To have them, I had a brother goes by Axe. He's out of Maryland area, and we spent about 4 months together at Forest SEI in PA. And I got to tell you, I had never met him before, and now closest friends. Man, what a great dude, man. What a great dude. And I had, here's a perfect example. I had no idea that he was even in my club because we just don't communicate the way we should. And it's hard to when there's this many people. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to sit down. One thing you'll never see is we don't organize. There'll be I'll throw a party, and they'll be like, oh, it's the same weekend that New York's having a party doing this. And you're like, how the fuck did we not know that? And it's because there's just no mass, organization of dates and events, which I always recommended, but I guess it was just too much work.
Where does this trouble start for you? You're going on with your life. You're a part of this club. Where
I'm rocking out, man. I'm king of the world, man. You couldn't go anywhere in the city without seeing me. I was having the time of my life, and I met this girl, and it quickly decided that was going to be a one-night thing. She was just a bundle of artificial energy, just couldn't shut up, and quickly she grew on me a little bit, and I didn't see it then, but now it's easy to look at. She was spending money on stupid. For instance, at the time I lived with it was my son, myself, and my 2 grandsons. I knew her 6 days, and my son called me, said, you got to get home and see what this girl did. And I'm saying, what did she do? And he said, she came over here. You know what? Just come home and check it out. And I come home, and it's a brand new leather sectional, 270-inch flat screens, NASCAR bed frames for the kids, an ice maker, a microwave. And I'm saying, what the fuck is the matter with you? Oh, don't get mad. It's I just wanted to help out and spruce the place up. It needs some things. It needs a woman's touch. And I'm saying to myself,
6
Why?
days.
6 days. You know, there's your first red flag that a vagina that's 15 years younger than you can make you miss that one red flag. You know, I overlooked it and I was like, you know, why are you spending? Oh, well, I have a trust fund, she told me. And I said, okay. And she comes from a family that could possibly have put her in a position to have that by the story she told me. So, you know, I keep a close eye on it and it's every single night. You know, where are we going tonight? Where are we going tonight? And I said, I don't know, you know, what episode of Sons of Anarchy you're on, because this is a true story. The first night I went home with her, there was the DVD box set about halfway through, ripped open that she was watching, and I'm like, oh, this makes sense. She came out, she wanted to bang a biker, and then this will be over with. I'll be out of here by 2 o'clock, and that's the last time I'll see her again. And if only that had worked out for me. So we began to date. You know, she's calling me every half hour. Where you at? What time until you get here? The brothers took to her because, of course, you know, she's spending money. There wasn't a bar that we went to, an event we went to that she didn't pick up the check. And when I say that, I'll give you an example. The famous Philadelphia toy run that they have at Christmas time, we throw a party the night before that. We're historically not invited to the toy run, yet we show up for it. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game that we play. They don't tell us what time and where they're starting, and we get the information anyway, and then we jump in front of the parade and we run everything that way. So we have a epic party, and we had it at the place where I was living. She paid for the band. She loaned me, I don't know, 3-4 grand to kick the party off, which we recovered at the door. The next morning, over 600 pagans go to a diner, and we're eating breakfast, and I'm trying to organize. You know, guys are there from out of town. I got that on my plate. I got the guys above me there that I always are my priority. I'm very busy, and this girl stands up and says, "I would like to pay for everyone's breakfast." And I'm looking at her like, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" Like, it's as nice as a gesture and as popular as it made me, and it was everywhere, bro. She rented an Airbnb for the Lord of the Shore that I was talking about. I got it. You know, you guys chip in if you want to, just buy groceries. And I'm saying, what the fuck is the matter with this girl? And I'm, you know, part of me's thinking, she likes the attention. She likes being on my hip. She definitely gets to meet everybody in the city where, you know, nothing good happens without us getting invited. It is a cool life for a younger girl who likes to party. I get it. But hey, you know, she had 2 sons. So you have children, you know, maybe put that in a trust fund for them. Build something with it. I remember 2 weeks before I was going to meet her family, she wanted to buy me a new motorcycle. We were at a buddy of mine's motorcycle shop. She's like, let's get this one. And I said, what do you mean get that one? So I'll buy it for you. I'm not going to meet your parents. And you know, this is the idiot I just spent 10 grand on that I just met. Because if you don't see it as stupid, I definitely see it as stupid. That's the kind of guy I am. I'm not letting somebody do that for me. And little by little, I started to see that she was buying control. You know, it became she had the nastiest mouth in our chapter. And she bites your head off, man, and down your neck like it was nothing verbally. She was 90 pounds and maybe 5 foot tall, but her mouth just never stopped.
To cause any
We,
problems for you around your
I,
brothers?
w- I wish it would have. Every other old lady in the club hated her guts, but the old man, as we'll call him, he kind of took a liking to her and liked having her around. And every time I told her she wasn't allowed somewhere, he'd say, come on, she's all right, bring her. You know, and it started to minimize my control. Not that she ever caused any kind of, you know, headaches, but just would get a little bit inebriated, have a little bit of narcotic energy going through her, and talk your fucking ear off while brothers are trying to have important conversations. It could be very annoying, especially when it's your girl doing it. I started seeing the exit doors. It was time to move on. We parted and then stayed together, you know, in the sexual side of things. We just get together and spend the night at each other's house, but it was, you know, literally hate each other in the morning. I'm sure other people out there have been in that situation where you just can't disconnect in the bedroom, but everything else is broken. That's where we were at. Now, meantime, she's spending money, and she had no friends when I met her. She quickly attracted friends by spending money, and those kind of friends were junkie friends. And anytime that there was no more money to party with, here comes Brittany. I'll pay for it. Come on, we'll go to my house. And she quickly got a couple of girls around her that were no good, man, and they weren't club girls. And she made some bad decisions. We quickly parted ways, which made her friend, one of these junkies that she was hanging out with for 4 weeks, and we're calling her best friend, and they're besties and the whole nine. This girl starts texting me, you need to stop being seen with this new girlfriend you have. We're gonna fuck her up. Everything from physical threats.
Were you dating another girl already?
Yeah, I had met a more regular, stable, mentally healthy girl, as we'll say, more like a mom. A regular grown woman. And they quickly found out who she was, started sending her text messages. So the girl was fine with it. She was like, "Listen, she's a crazy. I'm not worried about that. We're not going to let it affect us." And I was happy to hear that until they started sending pornography.